Like, don't get me wrong, Playboy Cardi's cool, he's fire, he makes good music. I'm a him.
What?
D Savage, my favorite rapper from the suburbs.
Which burbs?
Oh, my bad, where are you from?
From the west side to the east side, you know.
Alright, jokes aside, when I first heard D Savage, he was about to become a star, and not much later, his career got stuck in a car. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. And he became somewhat of a laughing stock. But no matter what you think of him, his influence in the underground is deniable. I mean, everyone knows D Savage. And recently, he's been making quite the comeback. So let's talk about it. D Savage is an interesting character because of how uncommon his career is, not just his personality. So let's take it back to when he first started making music in 2016. He was only 17 years old and randomly blew up off his first song, which is very rare. Like, when do you hear of a rapper blowing up off their first song? I honestly have never heard of that happening. Anyways, during that time, he had this chip on his shoulder or something, I don't know. If you're from the suburbs like me, you see kids like this all the time. They try to act like they're from the hood and then they just cringe. Right now, you'll probably find them wearing like a shiesty, but they'll still pull out the newest iPhone. It's like this weird infatuation to act hard. And if you watch the main video on him, you'll know he had a rough upbringing, but Gardena is a safe place in LA. It's not Compton. I mean, his first song is called 30 Round Clip, and he would constantly talk about his gang and other stuff while he was attending an art high school. So take that however you want to. And to give you some perspective, here's a video of what he was like before he became so hard.
My big no homo.
Let him know. Let him know. But yours not that big.
Brown and big, call me Domo.
And here's a quick example of him afterwards. In his No Jumper interview, he has a mask on with a red bandana wrapped around his head. And once again, you know, I don't really care, just however you want to dress, act however you want to act. But if you start acting like this, you can't really blame people on the internet for clowning you a little bit. Once again, if you watch the main video, you'll know he did have a $250,000 bond for a little bit, a double homicide, or something like that. But he didn't actually do it. But it kind of looks like he lived that life, so kudos to him, I guess. Hats off to you, D Savage. Not that I care or it matters to me as an Indian kid from the suburbs. I could care less. Just to fill in those of you that do. He was also very privileged socially and was hanging out with fashion kids like John Ross, who eventually connected him to Ian Connor. By the way, Ian Connor tweeting D Savage's first song was what made it blow up. Not just his talent alone, which I'll admit he's really good. And of course, he was friends, actually pretty tight with Tyler the Creator. He's not some kid that had no help, made out the hood, and blew up off rap. He's a very unique case. He was just a normal kid, not rich, not from the hood, from the lower class, that was kind of mentored by Tyler the Creator, and was able to get some very notable connections. And during this time, especially from 2017 to 2018, D Savage was an unstoppable force, musically at least, but his ego kind of got in the way of things. He was doing so good in the beginning of his career, but it hurt him and threw him off. You know when you tell a kid he's really smart and then he avoids doing stuff that make him look dumb, and then they end up not doing well? Well, that's what happened to D Savage. Everyone was like, you're next up. Ian Connor, Playboy Cardi, A$AP Bari. He was like, bet, and just got lazy, and didn't take advantage of the vast opportunities that were laid out for him. Man, if you just watch some of his old interviews, you have to admit, as much as I love this guy's music, he was one arrogant guy. The street persona didn't do him any favors either. I don't know, he just didn't live up to his potential at the time, and there's no way you can convince me with his attitude at the time that his label situation wasn't at least half his fault. There's just no way you can tell me this guy was easy to deal with. Anyways, it's not my life, I don't care, he probably got over it too. And that's when D Savage went from a promising young rapper with great music to the butt of many jokes, and all the beef he got into didn't help as well. So let's go over some of them. Playboy Cardi. I wouldn't even call this beef, it's just that up until recently, Cardi lived rent-free in D Savage's head. It started with this interview where he said,
I'm a him.
While he was faded out of his mind. Obviously, Cardi went on to attain a disgusting level of success compared to D Savage. I thought it was over, but this guy D Savage was like, hey, if I can't beef with his father and win, I'm gonna beef with his son. And decided to start beefing with Cardi's son, Onyx.
You don't know who I'm talking about? You don't know about my nephew, Onyx?
Who?
My nephew.
Who's your nephew?
My Iggy kid. That's my nephew. That's my nephew.
This girl's like, who's your nephew?
Yeah, that little bitch.
Huh?
You heard me.
Don't do that to baby, bro.
Give a fuck who it
It's a
is.
baby.
Even his girl was like, yo, you gotta chill. Of course, he had to tell us where he was from as well.
From the west side to the east side, you know.
The next beef he got into was with the man, the myth, the legend himself, DJ Academic.
DJ Academics, Free Weesh.
That's all I gotta say.
I love how Academics put a watermark over a video of D Savage dissing him. He says screw Academics, he's gonna give him the beats and a bunch more disrespectful stuff. And this beef was kind of messed up because Academics just made a fool of D Savage. They got into some petty beef at first, and then Academics just came for his head after that. He made a video exposing D Savage, not even exposing him, just roasting him for like 5 minutes, calling him the first rapper to be washed up at 19. The thumbnail is what looks like D Savage kissing another man. There are even people who'd go as far to say that DJ Academics ruined D Savage's career. And you know, I think AK is cool and all, but he doesn't have that type of power. He just embarrassed him. By the way, if you're wondering, oh, did they squash this like adults? Did it fizzle out? No, these guys are still going at it. Years later, D Savage will occasionally mention Academics in a live, and Academics will fire back on his own live streams because I guess he has nothing better to do. And I'm saying this as a fan of D Savage. He is undoubtedly 0-2, like he needs to find someone to beef with and up the score or something. Anyways, I found D Savage's music at around 2019 or something. Yeah, it was kind of late. I'd heard of him before and just didn't think he was for me, or just didn't care about his music, I guess. First songs I listened to were from his D Phoenix project, songs like Opera, No Smoke, Rich, I can't say that word. Then songs like Came In, Pill. Then I started listening to all his older music and newer stuff and was like, damn, this guy's kind of hard. Of course, I also saw how this dude acted and was like, man, why? I remember watching like the funniest clips ever of this guy and just thinking to myself, there's no way this is the guy that made Opera or Emotionless. Like, check out this Genius interview.
You see what the f is on my body?
No, I don't see what's on your body.
You don't have that rockin' fancy clothes, man. Hey, you see this?
No.
Hey, you don't have that.
His zestiness was through the roof. But one thing about D Savage is he's always gonna drop good music, never trash. Except for 2022, but I don't know what happened that year. So after I got introduced to him, he dropped his sophomore album. Some of those songs were beautiful, by the way. Pill and She Ready, What You Trying to Do, great songs. He dropped some good singles like How Does It Feel, MIA. And yeah, he was getting millions of streams, but it wasn't quite the recognition he deserved in my opinion. I just felt commercially he could have done better. Then there was his third album that only had 2 good songs, Bet and One Kill, in my opinion. And I'm not even gonna talk about 2022. But recently, he's been coming back and it's been great to see. He dropped Closure. I've had the song on repeat recently. And he also has a song called Come On that's doing really well. And his project Mafia Music that just came out. It's a good project. His newest sound has the old D Savage, you could say, and the new D Savage combined, and it's really nice. It's also working with the newer generation. He has a song with Glock 40 Spaz, who said that D Savage inspired him to rap, and they're gonna drop music soon. Kind of funny because they both have beef with Playboi Carti, or at least issues. And finally, music aside, as a person, he's just so much more mature and evolved. Just watch any of his newer interviews. I, for one, wasn't really paying attention to him outside of music for a while. Probably since he dissed Carti's son, I was like, alright, I'm out. But I've been watching some of his interviews for the main channel's video, and just in general, I gotta admit, he's become a class act. The street image that once everyone was kind of iffy about, he's kind of grown into it, and as he's gotten older, just a person overall, he's just very respectful, calm, well-spoken. And if you watch any of his interviews, he shows a lot of love. He's just a mature person, at least in his interviews. He still walls out on lives and stuff. But you can tell he's been bettering himself, so good for him. He's 24 now, and I think if he keeps dropping quality music, he will get a couple big songs in the next year, maybe through TikTok, maybe not. So as a fan of D Savage, I wish him the best and hope he succeeds. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.
D Savage not better than Carti, bro. I'm gonna have to hold you on that, bro. Cause D Savage be snapping, bro.
Y'all finna get this fired.